My sister, Judy Easton, skipped school and started dating way too early, but our parents sent me, the straight a kid, to a juvenile behavioral correction center, saying it was to teach her a lesson. Judy, take a good look at William. Act up again, and you are going there too. My family showed up to visit every so often. The first year, an instructor blew out my eardrum. I was covered in blood, gripping the bars, begging for help. Dad pointed at me while talking to Judy. Look at him. Still cannot follow simple instructions. If you do not listen to us, you will end up just like him. The second year, the instructor broke both my legs. My parents stood over my bed and said, look at you, lying there like a useless wimp. We came all this way to see you, and this is the welcome we get. How ungrateful. The third year, the instructor pumped me full of hormones. I swelled up like a whale. The instructor smirked. That is probably shot now. Let us see how you go after girls now. Judy stood outside the cage holding her acceptance letter to a top college. The whole family looked pleased. William, Judy got into a top college. You did your part. I am taking you home. I blinked, my vision hazy, trying to make sense of it. Who is William? They all call me Runt. What are you talking about? Dad asked. His face tightened. I turned the name William over in my head, again and again. Nothing. They never called me that in here. The instructor, Vincent Rhodes, stepped up behind me. His hand settled on my shoulder, firm, but placed where no one else would notice. He leaned in, his voice low against my ear. Watch your mouth when you get out. You know what happens if you do not. When he straightened, the smile was already back on his face. Mr. Easton, no need to worry. The kids are managed by ID numbers inside. It takes a little time to readjust. William has made real progress over the past 3 years. We are honestly going to miss him. Dad expression eased. All right, let us get him home. He looked at me. You hear that? Your name is William. I am taking you home. I nodded. Mom stepped forward and reached for my hand. I jerked back, hitting the doorframe, my body locking up. I am sorry. My knees started to give on instinct, the reaction shooting straight up my spine. My sister, Judy Easton, reached past Mom and caught my arm. Hey, stand up. You do not have to kneel. Her voice was quiet. She looked nothing like the girl who used to get into fights at school 3 years ago. Dad gave her shoulder a light pat and glanced at me. See, Judy, if you had been this easy back then, I would not have had to spend so much money to send William in your place. He did not bother hiding the satisfaction in his eyes. One kid gets into a top college, while the other gets his attitude straightened out. Worked out pretty well. When it was time to get in the car, I froze. Tight, dark spaces scared me. The seatbelt looked too much like the straps they used to tie down my arms and legs. I remembered a few people closing in, ripping my clothes open. See, can I sit in the back? I stammered. Dad sighed, then nodded. I climbed into the trunk and curled into the far corner, burying my face in my knees. Sunlight came through the glass. It felt sharp, almost painful, but something inside me stirred anyway. When we got home, a banner hung across the living room. Congrats, Judy, on getting into a top college. In smaller print underneath was, welcome home, William. The table was set with a full spread. Sit. Dad pulled out the chair at the head of the table. I walked over, but did not move. In there, sitting without permission meant getting slapped, over and over until your lip split. What are you waiting for? I lowered myself into the chair carefully. 30 seconds passed. No one hit me. The utensils shook in my hands. I had not touched anything like them in 3 years. We ate with our hands off metal trays on the floor, fighting over food. If you did not finish in 2 minutes, you got beaten. I set the utensils down, grabbed a rib, and shoved it into my mouth. The bone hit my teeth, and my lip split. The taste of blood mixed with meat. I could not taste much, but at least it filled me up. The sharp clack of utensils hitting the table made everyone look over. Dad snapped. William, what are you doing? My hand froze around the rib. The chair scraped back as I shot to my feet. Sir, I am eating. Enough. Dad slammed his hand down on the table. I spent all that money, and this is what you learned. Eating with your hands. I slid off the chair, my forehead knocking against the edge of the table. I am sorry. I will not use my hands. I will do better. I picked up the bone and dropped to the floor.